Hello. So recently I've been getting a lot of questions in response to my Facebook post that said that I'm not going to be publishing Valence Drive, the third book in the Juniper Crescent series. And, well, what I had said holds true. My voice has changed enough that I'd have to start from square one in order to get everything I've done on Valence Drive to be where I want it to be. Megan likes to say I've hit my literary puberty and my voice is changing. So I'm not going to be publishing it, but if you ask for it, I'll certainly send it over for you to read. And the biggest thing that's made the difference between when I started writing Juniper Crescent and where I'm at now with the current book I'm writing called Critical, is my ability to show what's going on versus tell. And if editors were a Pokemon, that would be their cry in the wild. Show, not tell. But the difficult part about it is even throughout high school and even some of my literary friends and editor friends, they would say show, not tell, but then they would be dead set on telling me not to tell instead of showing me how to show. So I had to read a lot, write a lot, stumble upon it, and then get my brain ripped out by kind people. And I do mean that in a non-sarcastic way. These people were kind in that they were brutally honest. So, the best way I can describe the idea of show not tell is think of the person whose job it is to name fingernail polish. It's never just orange or sparkly orange. This one is orange number 228. Which, if you talk to someone who knows their fingernail polish, there's probably a big difference between 228 and 229, and it makes all the difference. So, let's see. This one is Zippy. That's a specific blue. Very specific blue indeed. Nowadays, in writing, simply saying it's blue is like that friend of yours that says, "Hey, I'm going out." "Well, where are you going?" "Out." It's saying something, but for all intents and purposes, they're not telling you a thing. And so effective writing will be like fingernail polish. It's going to have a connected aesthetic to it. Like, take for example, blue. If you say her hair is blue, there's still a myriad of stuff, so much so that the brain doesn't even know what it's supposed to conjure. But if you make it much more specific, her hair was dark blue. No, that's still not enough. If her hair was the color of the ocean at dinner time, okay, cool, people can start to picture that. Or her hair was the color of cotton candy. You almost expect this girl to be sickeningly sweet and chipper while you're at it. And that's what you're going for. And if you said her hair was TARDIS blue, not only would you know everything about this girl, but you'd probably know a lot about the author too. So it's using those specific adjectives that help conjure the images. There's a connected aesthetic to it, which is why you can go on Pinterest and type in writing prompts, and you will still find these lists and charts of ways to say other things. 250 different ways to say said. Because again, it's like blue. Creaked, croaked, sobbed. Those describe. And the more you describe these instances, these single experiences and interactions, that's how you get us to know what your character's about. Using that interaction helps describe their person. You can get away with not having to say she was this kind of person, but through the interaction, you'll find everything else about her. And I love Harry Potter. It's a great series. J.K. Rowling has worked magic with this. But especially in the first one, The Sorcerer's Stone, not a good example of showing and not telling. Count the number of likes. Like is the cheese sauce of metaphors. They try to put it on everything, And in some cases, it works really well. In other cases, you could tell they just put cheese on it so that they could move on. Count how many times you're using like or as, because that's halfway to showing and not telling. Sometimes it's okay, rarely, sometimes, but not nearly as often as people want to admit. Okay, so Harry Potter's not a good example when trying to show and not tell. But a great example is Frank Bedore's The Looking Glass Wars. He's describing a whole world from which Alice talks about the points of Wonderland. But he doesn't describe everything. There's not a couple of sentences describing each creature or all of the flora and fauna in Wonderland. He mentions interactions with Spirit Danes, and he describes them well through what they do. Alright, so practice on that one. If you want further help, everything I've talked about, I've pinned to BiblioAwesomeness on my Pinterest account. And keep reading, keep writing. You're awesome.